and I'm lit. On a spacecraft in a new realm, that's it.
Alright, hey y'all, we are back with another one. I am Mel. We're here with another reaction decode or reaction discuss video. This is about the insight and inner reflection, timeless insight and inner reflection. This one should be pretty interesting. This is from Starman Media, clearly. Go follow them, go join them, okay? Subscribe to them and check out all their or his content, okay? Excuse me. If you want any readings, any oils, put my Etsy, put my site. I got like candles, I got oils, I got oracle cards, I got all type of stuff. You can go check it out. I'll put it in the description below. But let's tap in. Let's see what's going on.
Hemmitt was a metaphysical scholar and underground legend, known for decoding the esoteric science of the soul, ancient mythology, and the hidden mysteries of life and death. He broke down the dual nature of existence, spirit versus flesh, light versus dark, to awaken people to their divine inner technology. In this clip, he dives deep into his revelation on the soul's journey beyond death and the coded blueprint of consciousness itself. Let's check this out.
Ancient science, and they couldn't understand the concept that these people was interested in liberating the soul. These were the most illumined people on the planet. They were called a sage race, which means priest. A priest race is not necessarily interested in the mundane aspect of what you call the Maya, the matrix, the illusion that doesn't exist anyway. He's only interested in the soul aspect. So it was his soul that hadn't done these 47 things. Not him himself, but then again, by us taking the 10 Commandments, which is 10 of those particular ones based on the Mosaic law that was copied from the 147 negative confessions, we was looking at the same thing as this is what the Egyptians didn't do, just like the Christians say you shouldn't do this. And that concept is a later 2,000-year-old concept. You see what I'm saying? So what we're talking about here based on dogma, a dog don't need no book to be no dog.
All right.
Right, let's pause for a minute and really ask yourself, if the soul never dies, then what are we really afraid of? Bobby Hemmitt wasn't just talking, he was decoding a system built to keep you distracted from your true form and true mission. This ain't religion, this is resurrection. Now let's keep going.
There's certain things that we did that was taboo based on rites of passage. Certain things right now you do because you were raised a certain way. You did, I guess that's the way you brought up. Case in point, I come from a family of education. So at the age of 10, it was not whether I was going to college or not. It was what did I want to do? What did I want to do based on when I got to college? Now, I know it's all bullshit now, but I'm still trying to tell you that you can raise a person in a family structure to the point whereas they don't even have to worry about the certain rudimentary levels of what they're going to do with it, what process they're going to take. It's more of what adequate process, you see what, not process they take, but what are they going to actually do when they take that process. You see what I'm saying? So my point is we had a social order. And we can prove that because John Henry Clark said they didn't even have a jail. So that means that the African didn't spend all his life worrying about certain moral aspects. Even when it comes to the whole concept of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that the Arab, when you talk about Islam in these particular books, they're only just copying the nature of the black man and black woman. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, just like you got you have certain elements in certain animals that's just going to do certain things regardless of training. It's just going to come online. When we also have latent things in us, and we know that now. That's going to come online. Plus, in actuality, by us being one clairvoyant society, and was able with mental telepathy and one consciousness at one time, we already had the encoded consciousness or the archetypes of the collective unconsciousness did not necessarily be astray. A lot of these books was written for later day races who was coming out of the cave.
Let that sink in for a minute. We ain't talking theory. We talking soul science.
Who needed a book just to be human, because it's not human. But if you are human and your process is what you do based on who or what species you are, they spent more time dealing with the soul, because it was the soul which they had been separated from, and they got to not know.
And that's the whole purpose of keeping us distracted, keeping us entertained by sports, by food, by series like Power, like, you know, what is it, BMF, Lifetime, all that shit. And then that's like a domino effect, because then you want to get on social media and see how they're really living in life. So you follow them on social media, you see their drama, you know, it's a whole nother rabbit hole of bullshit. So it's like sometimes you gotta take yourself out of the matrix, like nigga, this is too much, and you overwhelmed because you wait on the next episode of Power, or you wait on the next episode of your favorite TV show, you want to watch First 48 or whatever, and all this shit is seeping into your subconscious mind. So it's bringing you even further and further away from the truth that you hold within. So I'm not saying you can't do that, but you have to learn how to separate the two. What I always say, be of this world, be in this world, but not of it. Okay, you gotta learn, you gotta know that you are the game player. It's like The Sims, you are the game player. Okay, your higher self, or your conscious self is what's running the fucking show. But ultimately, if you're trying to take your power back, or if you're trying to expand consciously, soully, wholly, you know, you're gonna have to notice your own habits or know the game. Okay, and the game is much deeper than Ashe. Here's a spell. Here's some herbs. Here's some chlorophyll. Here's some this, that, and the other. Because this is a game. And see, and sometimes when you get too deep in that, you know, sometimes you lose yourself in that too, because it just get deeper. That's all I'm gonna say, is it get deeper, because I don't want to go too far off.
The part that was deteriorated, and so when we went into Hemmitt, we was looking at this particular stuff, and especially the last 10 years, we was looking at it with Christian, Judeo-Christian, and Islamic mindset. And so we was thinking it was all based on, you know, they did certain things on a harmonious value, and they, you know, and they did, yes, they did, but they did those particular things just based on the nature. It was taboo not to do certain things. But when you see all that stuff on the wall, they was not taking thousands of years to record human behavior. They was talking about esoteric sciences of the soul. You see what I'm saying? Esoteric sciences of the soul. So the 47 negative confessions was not that they standing there saying, I didn't do this, and I didn't do that, and I didn't do this, and I didn't do that. It was a ritual, and it was what they call a wazifa, or what they call a mantra. They would recite these things based on the soul not doing these things. And remember, they said to make a God live is to call its name. So the God is the soul within them. And so basically they was referring this particular information to the archetype of the collective unconscious. You understand what I'm saying? Of the collective unconsciousness. As a matter of fact, this particular papyrus here, the Beaker Reed papyrus, Revel in the Soul by Beaker Reed. There's a guy in here, and he's having a conversation with his soul. And he's tired of life, and he wants to end it all. And the soul is trying to convince him to live, not because the soul says that life is sacred. What has happened is the soul has gotten to a state, or a dormant state, or primal sleep, till it doesn't want to be disturbed, and it doesn't want to be removed from its prison. That's about like you. Somebody come to get you.
Yeah.
to get you from hell to take your ass to whatever heaven state, and you go kicking and screaming. That's like you rejecting knowledge and information because you become comfortable in ignorance. Well, the concept of the concept of the rebel, the rebel of the soul, was to wake up the actual soul, because he wanted death, because he was tired of living in a realm that he understood was a prison.
The knowledge don't stop here, it circulates. If this unlocks up menu, don't just sit with it, build with it. We got more drops coming. Stay tapped in. Until next time, stay hidden.
I'm at this particular point that I'm inclined to believe anything, to the simple fact is I don't rule things out. Let me give you an example. The whole time they had this whole fight with this Olympic thing and the China thing, and and the next thing we know, we have this whole thing that comes down. So I wouldn't rule any of those things out. Let me give you another one I think is very important. And I'm glad you said that, because I think this is going to be the most important thing I'm telling you tonight. You have heard for the last year they've been coming on TV telling you that January of 2009, that if you got a regular TV, it won't be able to work without a converter box. You been hearing this?
Right, yeah.
Okay, let me tell you what's going on. And let me give you an example. Now, the red flag automatically went up, which means there ain't going to be no more free TVs. But then again, the only people that don't have cable is some black people, some old black people got their cable put off. Everybody else got cable. So now, that means that they got to get the people conditioned for what they want to do. Now, let me give you an example. You know they're killing black people wholesale up in Philadelphia. Killing dogs, but this thing started about 2 years ago, about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, and they're just all of a sudden in Philadelphia, black people killing people like dogs. Now, when it starts overnight, you must understand that that's called induced. That's being induced. That means that nothing starts on the back, and that means if they started killing each other 3 years ago, you could actually take it. If it was something that was regular crime, you could take it and you can go back each year and see a pattern. But to see something that come up overnight and there was no pattern before, that means that's induced. Now let me give you an example of what's going on here. They will always tell you something once. That's the policy of the government. But telling you something once is not telling you at all, because most people, you know what I'm saying, we don't even have a memory bank in the past 3 years. There's a movie that's out that they put out. They will always give you this. You can go to Blockbuster and find a movie called The Signal. The Signal. This movie just came out. And it's a movie where they take a signal and take it through the cable box, the radio, the cable box with the TV, the radio, and also the telephone. And as a result, they sent this signal in this movie, and everybody started killing each other like crazy, cutting off people's heads. And
that's manipulation, vibrational frequency manipulation. That's like with the music, with the hertz. Them hurts are harming to our connection to our higher self, connection to our soul, connection to the divine. That's why sometimes you have to refrain from listening to certain things for a certain time period. I'm not saying don't listen to. I think it's YouTube accounts that actually put it in the right hertz, and you can listen to it like that. But yeah, it's like that hurts fuck with your energetic field, and your chakras and all that shit. Getting you out of alignment. So the more you're attuned to this frequency, that's what you're gonna act on. That's what you're gonna think about. That's what you're gonna align with. Because remember, whatever frequency you on, you align with it, you act it out, you think about it, you give it your energy. Okay, so anytime, like with a Popeye's chicken. Remember that chicken sandwich? You remember that chicken sandwich? Everybody going crazy, fighting over and shit like that. Yeah, it had something in there to fuck with your frequency, to fuck with your mental, to fuck with your, connection to self. Something was in that shit. And it's still a lot. It's this food on the daily anyway. But still, that was just something significant I thought about. Another thing would probably be like, how often you are, what fucking word am I looking for? Exposed to this stuff. You feel what I'm saying? Shit crazy, because it's all magic, dark magic, black magic. And if we just take that technique and use it for something different, like reverse that shit, we wouldn't have no problem. And we know we can't, and we know everybody ain't gonna get it, everybody ain't gonna do it, everybody ain't strong enough to do it. That's just the name of the game. So the more that you can do it for yourself and teach others who are willing to learn and apply by these techniques, apply these techniques and apply this knowledge, then you doing something to help another, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day.
And I mean, people was killing, like they send the signal and everybody in the building dies, except one black guy who has melanin, but he later on succumbed to it. And another girl who was not watching didn't get the signal because she was in a closet hiding from one of her roommates trying to kill her. But anyway, you will get a simulation on what's going on in Philadelphia, or what was going on in New Orleans.
Also, we gotta understand, a lot of the United States people are guinea pigs. They try any and everything on us to see how we react. Okay, from a celebrity, Trump being the president, to taking away abortion or whatever laws that somebody was leaning on, depending on type shit, from fucking with the welfare system, all type of stuff, just to see how you gonna react, see how you gonna beg, or what are you gonna do to get it back, or what are you gonna say, or how it's all a testing system, because they have to keep doing this, because all this shit is a cycle.
When they had already evacuated all the people.
And also they kind of like they siphoning your energy. Always energy harvesting and controlling.
So what it is, let's say if the city wants some type of urban renewal, they got a plan for a certain city to do a certain amount of things, then the first thing they got to do is they start killing off the so-called underclass, you see, or locking them down. So there's a movie called The Signal that you need to get. It's at Blockbuster now, but it's going to be fundamental, because now you're going to be forced to have a converter box, even if you didn't have one before by the 1st of 2009. Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the movie shows you, and it might be a little more graphic and dramatic, but it's still, you get the concept when you see the movie, that a lot of these things you are thinking, what is wrong with these Negroes, man? They have gone fool. That stuff is induced, especially when it don't make no sense, you see. And this is giving us a synopsis of what's been happening with us over the years, at least the past 20 years, you see. So that's it. It's called The Signal. Yes.
Okay. Now, what's going on with this 2012 dimensional shift?
Okay. This is the deal on the 2012. The 2012 is actually happening right now. You see, when the Mayans chose 2012, they understand that you can't really calculate energies. Mm-hmm. Basically, energies occur at a certain way, and to get the exact date or time, that's artificial. So to give you a simulation of an area on when they're talking, they just chose a number. But but it's more of a cycle. The 2012 cycle
again.
We're in it already. So let's say we did get to 2012. You'd probably be disappointed if you think in the exact hour something is actually going to happen, not unless the government is going to try to make something happen. But nevertheless, it is supposed to indicate the cycle that we're in now. So what happens is this. They can control you and your perception of things by giving you a date years off. Let me give you an example. In the 1990s, everything was about the millennium. When the millennium comes, the millennium. Then the millennium came.
Repetition.
You see what I'm saying? Certain things did happen, but when it did come, then they started 2012.
That's explaining the cycle right there. They always got some new fear or some new agenda, and they push it out to you. And like mockingbirds, we leech onto that and we start talking about it, and it go all across the internet, and it go word of mouth. And this is energy harvesting too, trying to put you in a place of fear and lack. And how do you get programmed? Repetition, symbolism, okay, and fear or a traumatic event or traumatic things or fear-based shit. Because it's gonna keep lingering in your mind. You're gonna keep thinking about it. You're gonna be asking yourself why this, why that type shit. That's how you fucking pain or fear, trauma, something like that. That's how you gonna get programmed, okay? To be how you are, to see things as you are, because that's basically your energy now. You done attached it and accepted that energy, and now it leaks into your matrix, okay? That's why you have to have a seal on your matrix, because this is your matrix, and you can develop it in the way that you motherfucking want to. That's why it's good to be knowledgeable of certain things, and just keep gradually, understanding the metaphysical of things and how energy works, and mainly how the big dogs do it. Because I ain't gonna lie, if you want to call them government, elite, whoever run the world, or whoever created this whole matrix thing, or this whole navigation, I don't know, world control or whatever system, they did their big one. Because everybody don't. Everybody ignorant. Everybody is like not concerned with what the fuck they doing, or affected by what they doing when it affects their livelihood, but still don't know how it got to that point. How can they do this? How can they take away my food stamps? How can they take away my job? Get rid of the job and get laid off. All this shit work together. It may seem like it's just smaller than what you think, but they got players everywhere. Okay, they got agents everywhere. They got people watching everywhere. They have other people trained that they don't even know that the people don't even know that they're trained and doing the mission. Think of it like okay, you grew up with somebody and now they're a police officer. You feel me? They was always sweet. They was always nice. Next thing you know, they pulled you over. They aggressive. They talking shit out their neck. They on Facebook talking shit, or they in public and they don't want to speak to you, but y'all grew up together. Or sometimes it gets people's heads and shit. You feel me? Same thing with people that as some people will call Uncle Tom type of dude type shit. But even the people that are against the Uncle Toms are also programmed too, because you're still programmed to go against your own, because you see that they want to be up under the wing of whomever is controlling them, or whoever they're trying to please and stuff like that. So it's all a game. Everybody got their positions. You just got to understand how to combat this energy. See it when it's happening type shit. This shit, you see this shit all day, I'm telling you.
Well, what's the science on this? The science is, if I give you a future date for you to look forward to, I have eliminated the time that you are living in right now and things that is occurring at this moment.
Poverty mindset, limitations. That's another thing. They love to put you in some type of limitation. That's why the ghetto is like it is. That's why food prices are going up. That's why you see shortages here and there. That's why you see You got credit scores, limitations. Because if your credit score ain't right, you ain't gonna get much of what you want. You ain't gonna get that house you want. You ain't gonna get, that car you want. Because you got to put in the work to get that. So they want you to feed that energy into doing that, feeding that dream, and they probably keep raising the bar every time. And even when you achieve it, it's always another hoop to jump through. You gotta have mortgage insurance, house insurance. You got to do this, do that. It's always barriers to jump. Not saying you can't do it. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you have to look at it from that outside perspective. Like, okay, yeah, it is always some shit you got to do to level up or have a lifestyle that is comfortable. Okay, because you gotta understand, even though you comfortable, there are people that are legit homeless. Okay, that haven't grasped this shit. They haven't grasped even the basic shit. So you can't. There are drunks, alcoholics, heroin addicts. You know what I'm saying? So you can't. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at it from everybody's perspective.
I have actually neutralized that. There's a whole book out, a guy named Eckhart Tolle, called The Power of Now. Which means that the now is always the future. The future is always now. But if I can eliminate you and put you in stagnant, suspended animation by giving you a date up ahead, you see what I'm saying? The future never gets here because the future is always occurring. So that's the power of now. So you can eliminate people, their power, and neutralize their power and their thoughts and everything else because they're gravitating towards that. So as a result, every time we get in something, let's say when 2012 does get here, there will be something else a few years down the road to control people. Now, the key here is the Barack Obama thing, which is a freak of nature in the particular aspect of what we have gotten with this election program and black people before. That's a 2012 event happening before our eyes. You see what I'm saying? But then again, on the other hand, we can't pick up on it. You see what I'm saying? Because we keep thinking that everything is just regular politics or everything is the regular apparent state of what we are in. You see what I'm saying? No, things are happening as we speak. You see? But we don't pay attention to those things. And that's what they say you need to observe everything that's happening during the now, the power of now. You see, so we're in the 2012.
What was the name of that author, the Power of Now, the book?
It's called Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle. Don't ask me how to spell it.
Okay.
But you only need, when you go on the internet or when you only need the title, The Power of Now.
Okay.
He was also on Oprah too. You see what I'm saying? Eckhart Tolle. But that's the power of now. So, another guy that wrote a book called, let's see if I can find the name of this book. He says we are in what is called the 2012 season. A lot of people make that mistake. You see what I'm saying? It's called The Mysteries of the Great Cross of Henday. The Mysteries of the Great Cross of Henday, Henday. And it's talking about certain events that's happening at this particular time. And the guy's name is Jay Weidner. Jay Weidner, or Jay Weidner. That's Weidner. Jay Weidner. And the name of the book is called The Mysteries of the Great Cross of Henday. And in there, it's talking about all this stuff that's happening right now, but he said you must focus on the 2012 cycle. We are in the 2012 cycle at this particular time, so that's where you don't miss out on it. Because if we go to that actual date, you'd probably be disappointed. It's like the Y2K thing. You know, you couldn't tell people were stockpiling and doing all kind of stuff. And Y2K came, and nothing happened. And I got a friend that worked at a black college, the college I went to, Clark Atlanta University. He said when he went into the black college and cut on the computer and it booted up right away, he knew that it was a big hoax. Because if anything gonna shut down, that's gonna be the first thing to shut down is some stuff on some black college campus. You see what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make here is you focus on now. And that's the key.
Yes.
Right. Okay. What about the Lucifer Project?
Which one? What you mean? Give me an example. I've heard of
Well,
it. But
someone in the chat room asked me to ask you about the Lucifer Project.
tell them to explain what they mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait.
Okay.
Well, right, because I do know if you're talking about Lucifer, the
I love when they
historical
talk like that.
Lucifer, that is a metaphysical concept.
Well, let's
Lucifer
talk about that one.
The Lucifer is the light bringer.
Right.
He's mentioned in Genesis, and is also mentioned in Revelation.
Hey, the morning stars and shit.
And it's a Lucifer. This is a great mystery, but it's really beautiful when you break it. They say Lucifer fell like the morning star. That's in Genesis, I think. When you get to Revelation, Jesus say, "I am the morning star." And what do they mean by that? It means Jesus and Lucifer is one. What is Lucifer? Lucifer is the light bringer. What is the light bringer? If you break this thing on the esoteric, there's nothing talking about the pineal gland. The third eye. Well, the third eye is coming from the eye. It's called the eye of Horus, and as we all know, Horus is the precursor of Jesus. Jesus was basically plagiarized off of Horus and a couple of other multiplicity of crucified saviors and all of that type of thing around the ancient world, and then historicalized. You see what I'm saying? There was nothing that went on in Rome and Jerusalem or whatever that didn't go on in every other country in the world, or when it talks about this whole Christ energy. But that's a whole other lecture. But the Lucifer aspect, when you break it down, there ain't no man up under no ground with no pitchfork. The Lucifer thing means, they said that Lucifer fell out of heaven and was bound for 1,000 years. 1,000 years is just a number. When you bind a spirit, you encase it into a human body. So in so many words, we are the Lucifer. When you break this thing down and get out of the spookism of religion, the high priest looked and understood this thing as a much more scientific level. The Lucifer simply means the pineal gland. You see, and Jacob wrestled with the devil. You see, till daybreak. And at daybreak, he saw what? He saw the face of God that was called what? Pineal. You see. So what is the devil bringing him to the face of? We're talking about polarities.
Right.
The darkness produces the light. So when we talk about Jesus and the devil, Horus and Set, it goes on and on. These different, Osiris and Set, when you deal with these particular polarities, there's nothing but energies fighting for supremacy, or ultimately scientific principles that will give way to a new beginning. You understand where I'm coming from? Let me give you an example.
I'm sorry, I'm looking crazy. I'm trying to break it down as you go.
For Jesus to rise, or Horus, or Heru, to rise, it meant that he had to be at a fallen state. See, to rise, the definition of the word means that it has to come from on low. You can't rise from on high. You understand what I'm saying? Well, what is the fallen state? The fallen state is the physical body. We were advanced entities and spiritual beings that took on a physical human experience. And as a result, we will go back to a higher illumination beyond this, and that is the Christ principle that they're talking about. And that is not
Christ consciousness,
synonymous to a group of people in the Roman Empire that tried to corner the market with the principles that the ancient Egyptians had, the ancient Sumerians had, the ancient Phoenicians had, and everybody around the ancient world had this same principle. You see what I'm saying? And they tried to historicalize it to make it a exclusive thing. So that's what that is talking about as far as the mythology on the whole Lucifer thing. You see what I'm saying? And basically what it is all you had to know about it, never really thought about this, but I did a whole 10-year study on nothing but the doggone devil. Well, I'm not saying nothing but the devil, but I did a 10-year study on the doggone devil and Satan. And when you study something in all its form, you break the mystique from it and you get the real meaning behind it. And these are polarities and principles more than they are historical people that say the devil made me do it. That's a scapegoat.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But when you talk about Lucifer, that's nothing but a certain light coming from a dark, dormant space, manifesting into a manifested space, which is the light thing, which would be the Jesus thing. So that's what that is. It's just like the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the Antichrist. If you was to take a Christ means light.
Right.
But if you was to take a light, strike a match and put it to a white wall, and take your thumb and put in front of the match, you will see a shadow.
Shadow.
You see what I'm saying? The shadow is just the polarities of the light. You see what I'm saying? It's scientific more than it is this whole evil or wicked thing. You see? But as time goes on and cultures come and get younger and younger, they tend to lump things that they don't understand under the department of evil. So several ancient spiritual things that happened for thousands of years, when later generations came and they didn't understand those particular principles, they just lumped it all up under evil. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They give it a chance.
Well, Bobby, we have a lot of people that want to ask you some questions,
Okay.
so I'm going to open the lines up.
All right.
Okay.
That one was interesting. That's really thought provoking. I think what I'll do is make a video about all of that shit, especially like the pioneer and the Lucifer and the polarity of the shadow type shit, because I am gonna be doing like a video for just shadow work alone, try to guide and help people to kind of get up out of that. Even, give me some tidbits too, because sometimes it get hard as well. We all in this together if we want to consciously, help one another or whatever the case may be. But it all starts from self, okay? This one was interesting. I like this one. I'm gonna have to, after I put it together, I'm gonna have to look at it again and listen to it again and again and again. Because sometimes repetitively I have to listen to things to break it down. So yeah, this is interesting. This is interesting. I like this one. I like one that I like these videos that I can relate to. I can relate to this, but also it's also teaching me something else. So now I have to expand in another way to grasp it. Because if I don't technically grasp it all, I'm just gonna forget about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna write it off. Just like he was saying, like sweep it under the rug type shit. But not that it's evil, but that I can care less. But like I ain't got time for that right now. But I do. I got plenty of time because I'm trying to get deeper and deeper into the occult. So thank you for joining me on this journey though, because it's very intense. Very intense. It's very fulfilling though also. But yeah, if you want to book a reading, look at my my oils online. I got spiritual baths, got candles, I got spiritual supplies. All that is in the description below, and I will see y'all in the next reading. Love y'all. Bye.